Agents do need to look at this more and more as we become more trusted advisors rather than an estate agent that does one thing really well. Most probably could learn that one thing even better, because I think sometimes in changing markets, 30 years in the industry, I would say 4 or 5 of those years out of 30 have probably seen a decline in price market, which means you know most aren't equipped for the conversations that we need to be having today and to do the things that we know we should be advising at the front end. Just on the money side, Steve, you're a mathematician.
I was going to say one point on the staging piece that I love as well from an agent's perspective is we see so many agents would help a client by reducing their price, and they'll take a big, huge 6-figure sum off perhaps a property.
6 figures in that price range.
Before they've even looked at staging, which costs a fraction of it. So a drum home for agents that haven't come across the service, it's well worth considering that before going down, it's a price point only. Getting a consultation and talking staging can be super useful to help educate and stand out a bit.
It's just, I think for a lot, I don't know about you, Elaine, you deal with a lot of agents. Does it feel like the more experienced agents they're not conditioned to think that way, and it's maybe slightly newer agents coming into the market who are looking at all of the assets that are available to them, the partnerships, and thinking, I'm here to advise rather than I'm here to just list and sell.
Yeah, and it's a mix as to whether it's newer agents or older or more experienced agents, but it is them beginning to understand that the world's evolved around them. And what a seller is looking for is an advisor who's going to help maximise the price for the house. And so, because, for all of us, that house is generally the financial gateway to the next phase of life. And it's wanting that trusted advisor that can get you from A to B with the least hassle, the least risk, the least stress. It's a very, very stressful thing to do to move house, as we know. Often it's coupled with another stressful life event. So divorce, relocation, which means that the kids are being taken out of their school that they're settled in into a different school. It might be around a bereavement. So having that trusted advisor who can help you at every single stage to maximise that and not just necessarily maximise the speed or the offer value, but to maximise the efficiency of the process, to make sure it happens without just adding another layer of the emotional stress.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think certainly in the more premium, and certainly when you're going beyond the prime market, you're in the sort of super prime. The agents at the top are almost like the conduit of everything. They have the black book for the client to access, and I think that's a really interesting point as well. Steve, on a global sort of market side, I was interested. We touched on this when I met here last time about volatility and the fluctuations in exchange rates and global, well, it is economic uncertainty, let's not dress it up, really impact the UK premium property buyers, or is it still just a bit too much noise?
No, it's impacting everything from the latest events with Iran. Iran, basically everyone talks about the oil impact for inflation. Initially, there was a big educational gap around, the UK doesn't have a dependency on oil from that part of the world, it won't impact us. But we all buy from the open market, so surprise, surprise, it impacts everybody, like the oil delivery that you had recently. That goes into inflation, growth forecasts, and interest rate change. So what we talked about last time, which did come into fact, right? Next month, we're now incredibly likely that we're going to see the Bank of England increase rates.
Which it was only going to look at
Decreasing,
wasn't it?
Going back 3-4 weeks ago, there was an 80% chance that we're going to cut interest rates.
Yeah.
Now there's over an 80% chance it's going to go up. And we've seen that in the mortgage market. So what was it
lenders
last
have
week?
Been pulling rates, increasing rates.
Last week, 25,000 mortgages were repriced. 25,000. So that's more than the mini budget. A huge impact. So that will impact the bottom of the market hugely, obviously, first. So condolences to those agents having those difficult conversations with the first buyers that aren't going onto the property market.
Yeah.
And that will go all the way up through. And then it impacts debt levels and confidence at the top. So it'll have a wider view. And we're just hoping we'll see a few different outcomes on what it looks like. Either Iranian oil is in the market and we're having a heyday and oil's at $40, $45 a barrel, or it's a bigger problem. It goes to 140, 150, and it's the R word comes in globally, which I don't even want to say yet because I'm not trying to fearmonger. It's just one of those realistic outcomes that might happen.
You said condolences to the agents having those difficult conversations. You see, I think when you've got the information and you've educated yourself on the information and you're able to have a viewpoint that's not, it's difficult sometimes to be accurate on the future because things can change in a heartbeat. Probably mainly down to the president of the...
lots are changing. So when you talk about the agents and advisors, and to the point prior, it's not young agents or old agents, it's those agents that learn new things. A good agent is an advisor knows a little about a lot, and if they don't know any more, they know who does.